Okay, so in this lecture we'll be talking about the physical properties of this simple hydrocarbon, this ether and alcohol. So here we'll be focusing first on the boiling points of your ethers in comparison to alcohols and simple hydrocarbons. So we can see here from the data that it has shown that alcohols have the highest boiling point. It is evident now that alcohols undergo hydrogen bonding, hence they will definitely have the highest boiling point. Okay, but there is a difference between the boiling point of the simple hydrocarbon and your ether. So we can see that ether is having a lower boiling point, but we know that as ethers are more polar, they should have had more boiling point as compared to simple hydrocarbon. But you know, this polarity is not much. There is not much dipole moment between the oxygen and the carbon atom. So that is what they have written here. The carbon oxygen bonds in ether are polar. Thus ethers have a net dipole moment, है ना. They have a dipole moment, but due to this weak polarity, है ना, it does not appreciably affects the boiling point. So the boiling point is not very deeply affected by the polarity of the ethers. Okay, so this much we should remember. Okay, so this is very easy. So we already know that alcohols have hydrogen bonding, so they are definitely going to have the highest boiling point. Now what about your solubility in water? So what happens is that if I have your alcohol molecule, suppose I have alcohol molecule and suppose I have ether molecule, है ना. So which one should be miscible in water? Actually both are miscible in water and their miscibility is relatively comparable. How we can say this, how they are miscible with each other? We know that in alcohol there is a charge separation. There is a charge separation delta minus and delta positive charge, है ना. As the hydrogen is attached to the electronegative element, definitely it will have a delta positive charge. Now as compared to water, water also has this delta minus and delta positive charge. So what can happen is that this delta negative oxygen can actually form hydrogen bond with the hydrogen of your water, है ना. So as alcohol can form hydrogen bond with water, it will be miscible in water. So we can say that it is miscible. Now same thing is with ether. So in ether also we say that in ether you have this ROR group and we know that this oxygen is delta negative. So this will show hydrogen bonding with your hydrogen of your water, है ना. This is delta positive and this is delta negative. So we can say that ethers are also miscible, है ना, and their miscibility is quite comparable, है ना. So this is what they have written here. The miscibility of ether and water resembles those of alcohols and same of the same molecular masses. If your molecular masses are same, then definitely their miscibility would be similar because both of them are forming hydrogen bonds with your water molecule. Okay, this is what they have shown here also. Okay, now let us move on the cleavage of carbon oxygen bonds in ether. So this is very important topic. So I will first give you some important points, and if you keep them in mind, I think you will be easily able to do all the questions of cleavage of ether. So one of the things that you have to remember here is that they will be using some halo acid. Cleavage of ether. So cleavage of ether is done by, first of all, it is done by some halo acid which is HX. Most commonly they will be using HI, है ना. Why? Because if we take different halo acids, we know that the most strongest acid will be HI. So if HI is the strongest acid, then they will be using it more frequently. HI is most acidic and it will easily give proton, and hence because we use HX because of its acidity. So if HI is most acidic, then the reaction will be most favorable in case of HI. So the reaction rate is dependent on the strength of your halo acid. So we can say that HI will have the highest rate and HCl will have the least rate. This is what they have written here also. The order of reactivity of hydrogen halides is as follows, where they have shown that HI has the highest reactivity and HCl has the least reactivity. Now let us try to understand the mechanism, है ना. So what is the role of this HX? So first let us try to understand the role of your HX. So what happens is that we know that your ether has two lone pair on oxygen atom, and once it is protonated, it can undergo protonation. That is, this oxygen can attack the H plus, and what will happen? It will get protonated. Your oxygen atom will get protonated. After protonation, we know that this group has become a good leaving group. Why? Because oxygen has a positive charge. It wants this electron to move back to itself, है ना. Only then will it regain its lone pair of electron, or we can say that that positive charge will be removed. or we can say that the role of this H plus is to make this group in a good leaving group, in a good leaving group. This is what we have to keep in mind. This is the role of H plus. Okay, so now what happens is, once you have protonated your ether, what will happen is that your I minus which you had used, you are using HX, or for example you are taking HI. So what will happen is that after protonation, your I minus will act as a nucleophile, will act as a nucleophile, and your I minus will attack on one of the R groups, and this will move. So what will happen is, it will lead to the formation of your alcohol and your Ri. Alkyl iodide and alcohol will be formed. Now we know that your alcohol, it can further react with HX. Your alcohol, it can further react with HX to protonate this alcohol, and then your I minus can further attack on this, and it will lead to the formation of one more Ri. So we can say that once the reaction has completed, we can write the net reaction. What will be your net reaction? That if you take your ROR and you add twice of HI, what will happen is, it will lead to the formation of twice of Ri, and water will also be formed. This is your complete reaction, and this is what will happen. So where have we used this ROR? ROR is here. Twice of HI, we have used twice of HI. So how did we use twice of HI? One HI is here, H plus and I minus. This is one HI. Your second HI is consumed here. Okay. Now where is twice Ri formed? Twice Ri formed is here. First Ri is this one, and the second Ri is this one. And where is water? Water was left here, removed from the reaction. Okay, na? So these are the products that are formed. Now I would like to so this is the mechanistic overview, है ना? So now we have understood that your ether, so this is what they have written here, that your ether will react with HX and it will lead to the formation of RX and ROH. So first ROH will be formed, and your ROH can further undergo a reaction with HX to form alkyl halide. This is what I have shown in this reaction. Okay, so this much you have to remember. Now what happens if I use some phenyl ether? Okay, so I will take an example of a phenyl ether. Suppose this is your phenyl group and this is your R group, and I react it with HI. So what will happen is first it will protonate your ether. So on protonation, what will happen is it will be protonated like this. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to attack this I minus. Now this I minus will attack on the R group and this will leave. So it will lead to the formation of phenol. And it will also lead to the formation of Ri. Now why did we attack this I minus on R only? Why did not we attack it on this carbon atom? So attack cannot occur on the sp2 hybridized carbon atom of benzene ring, because that carbon is actually sp2 hybridized and it is bonded with oxygen. So we know that phenols do not undergo substitution reaction, they do not undergo SN2 or SN1 reactions. Why? This I have told you in the previous chapter itself, but here also I will repeat कि we know that this carbon oxygen bond is very strong, है ना, because oxygen is giving electrons to the benzene ring, so there will be partial double bond character. Okay, and the bond strength of sp2 hybridized carbon and oxygen is very huge. That is why this I minus did not attack on the benzene ring carbon atom, है ना, it attacked on the alkyl group and phenol was formed. Okay, now we know that this phenol will not further react with HI. No reaction will occur with HI. Why? Because we know that even if we protonate this phenol, your I minus cannot attack on this carbon atom. Why? Just I have told you the reason right now itself, कि भैया the carbon oxygen bond is strong, or we can say that the carbon oxygen bond has your partial double bond character. So what I have to remember here is, so there are only few things that I have to keep in mind, that whenever I take a ether, I take a symmetrical ether. Symmetrical ether means it has two same alkyl groups. If I take a symmetrical ether, it will lead to the formation of two alkyl iodide groups and two alkyl iodide units and water molecule, whereas in case of phenyl ethers, it will lead to the formation of phenol and alkyl halide or your alkyl iodide. This is what they have shown here. Okay, so this I have already mentioned ki bhai, if you are given this HI, what will be the reaction? Now what happens is sometimes they do not give you symmetrical ethers, they will give you unsymmetrical ether. So this is what we have to remember, है ना. In case of unsymmetrical ether, what you have to do, in case of unsymmetrical ether, you have to keep only two things in mind. The first thing is कि भाई if you can make a stable carbocation, then you will do SN1 reaction, है ना. If stable carbocation is not formed, that is your first priority will be stable carbocation formation. If you cannot form a stable carbocation, never go for SN1 reaction, okay. And if you have a stable carbocation, you will do if you do not have a stable carbocation, है ना, if you do not have a stable carbocation, no stable CC, then what we will do SN2 reaction, okay. Suppose this is what they have shown here also. Suppose I take an example. Suppose I have this example, CH3 carbon, CH3, and then I have this oxygen, and then I have this CH3. Okay, now I can say कि भैया this alkyl group, this CH3 group is highly reactive towards SN2, but this group is highly reactive towards SN1. So what I have told you just now, that first priority you have to give to SN1 reaction. So if I take only one equivalent of HI, what will happen is that it will protonate this ether, and once it will get protonated, now I am writing it in a condensed form to make it shorter, OH plus and CH3. Now I know that I can use the I minus to attack this carbon atom, but that we do not have to do, because we know that stable carbocation formation can occur with this alkyl group, okay. So what I will do is I will not attack this, I will actually go via SN1 reaction, है ना. What I will do is I will relieve this group, and what will happen is I will lead to the formation of this carbocation and your alcohol CH3OH, है ना. Now I have used only H plus. What I will do, I will attack your I minus, and I minus will attack on the carbocation, and it will lead to the formation of your alkyl iodide, है ना. So we can see here that if I am given a unsymmetrical ether, what I will do, and I have been given only 1 mole HI. Here we are not using HI in excess, I am using HI only 1 equivalent. So if I use HI only 1 equivalent, what will happen, it will protonate, and once protonation has occurred, it will lead to the formation of your carbocation, which will be a stable carbocation, and your I minus will attack. So one of the alkyl groups will form your alkyl iodide, and the other group will be forming your methanol or your alcohol. Now as I used only 1 HI, this methanol will not further react, है ना. If I would have used HI in excess, then of course this would have reacted with HI as well, and your product formed would have been CH3I and H2O. But here we are not using HI in excess, so we will not do this reaction, okay. So this is what they usually ask. They give you some unsymmetrical ether, and they give you only 1 mole alkyl, 1 mole HI, है ना, or 1 equivalent HI, and then they ask you what is the product formed, okay. So if you remember only this point, it is more than sufficient for you, okay. Now let us try to move further. Here they have just given you the mechanism. This you can go through, just the mechanism that I have written here. Now they have taken this as your ether, and they have tried to react this with HI. I use this reaction right now, and here we had also formed this alkyl iodide, and we had formed this methanol. We had formed this tertiary butyl iodide. This is formed here, है ना, and your methanol is here. So this is the product that I have already explained you right now, okay. So now here they have shown this also, कि भाई I had this 3 degree alkyl group, and then I had this primary alkyl group. So first I found the stable carbocation, that is I am following SN1 reaction, okay. Alright, so now let us try to move forward, है ना. So if we know this much, then we can solve this example 11.7. Let us try to focus on the different examples and try to understand what will be the different products formed, okay. Now let us take the first example, है ना. In the first example, what they have done is that they have taken some compound, and we know that we cannot form a very stable carbocation. Very stable carbocations are, carbocations like 3 degree carbocation, or your benzylic carbocation, your allylic carbocation. These are very, very stable carbocation. So as very stable carbocation formation is not occurring here, so what we will do, we will try to prefer SN2 reaction, because here I have told you, if you form a very stable carbocation, only then you will do SN1, otherwise you will be doing SN2 reaction. So that is the reason why I am using SN2 reaction in the first example. So what they have done is that they have given you this compound CH3, CH2, CH3, है ना, and then your CH2O, CH2, CH3, है ना. So first what they are doing is that they are protonating it. So once it will protonate, so I am going to make it in this only. I am protonating it, and then once I will take I minus, what this I minus will do, it will try to attack on this carbon atom. Why not the other carbon atom? Because that is a more hindered site, है ना, and because that is more hindered, SN2 reaction will not be very favorable. So once I attack on this carbon atom, this oxygen will move, it will release, है ना, it will regain its electrons, and the product formed would be alcoholic group will be attached with this alkyl group, है ना, and your iodide or your iodine will be attached with this alkyl group. Okay, so this is what they have formed. This is the answer. Okay, now let us try to focus on the second question. In second question, we know that we can form a stable 3-degree carbocation. Okay, let us try to draw it. CH3 CH2 CH2 O C CH3 CH3 CH2 CH3. So if I protonate it, if I protonate it, I can say that once I have removed it, I can form a 3-degree carbocation. So what will happen is that this part will form your carbocation, carbon CH3 CH3 CH2 CH3. Okay, so this carbocation is very stable. Why? Because it is a 3-degree carbocation and it has your 8 alpha hydrogens, है ना? So that is why this is very stable. So what will happen is that your I minus will attack on this carbocation, I minus will attack on this carbocation, and this product, this part will be removed, will remain as it is. Why? Because we are using only one equivalent of Hi. So this will lead to the formation of your CH3 CH2 CH2 OH, है ना? So one of your products will be this alcohol and the other product would be your alkyl iodide, which is formed with this group. Okay, so this is what they have shown in the answer also. Now let us try to move on the third question. In the third question, we know that after protonating it, so I am going to make your third. So third is I am going to write this phenyl as pH, your benzene ring as pH, OPH, है ना? Now if I protonate it, what will happen? It will form this, and I know that on removing this electrons and giving it back to oxygen, it will lead to the formation of your carbocation, which is a very stable carbocation. This is your benzylic carbocation. I know कि I have told you many times that benzylic carbocation, allylic carbocations, these are very stable carbocations. So what will happen is that it will lead to the formation of your benzylic carbocation, and the other part will lead to the formation of your phenol, है ना? Now I know that phenol cannot further react even if Hi was given in excess, but here it is not given in excess. So what will happen is that one of the products formed would be your phenol, and your I minus will actually attack on the benzylic carbon atom. So it will lead to your benzyl iodide and your phenol. So this is what they have shown in the answer as well. Now let us try to focus on your electrophilic substitution reactions, how these actually occur. So I have already told you that a group, a particular substituent on benzene ring has two different effects. One is the reactivity and one is the orientation of your incoming electrophile. So we know that these OR groups, these are electron donating groups. Why? Because oxygen have electrons, lone pair of electrons on them. So they can give these electrons to the benzene ring. So the benzene ring will be electron rich. Moreover, as can be seen in these resonating structures, the negative charge is coming on the ortho and para positions, है ना? So we can say that in case of reactivity, the OR groups are activating, that is they are giving electrons to the benzene ring, whereas as the negative charge is coming on the ortho and para position, है ना, in the various resonating structures, we can say that this OR group will be ortho para directing with respect to the electrophile, है ना, that is the electrophile will attach on the ortho or para position with respect to your OR groups. Okay, so now first they have done the halogenation. We know that if halogenation we have to do, then we have to attach your Br on ortho and para position. Your para bromo anisole will be major product. Why? Because this will have less electronic hindrance. Okay, because these will have less steric hindrance. Okay, now I have this anisole, and then I have made it react with CH3Cl in case of anhydrous AlCl3. So we know that this is a Friedel-Crafts alkylation reaction, and your alkylation will occur at para position, and that will be your major product, है ना? It will also occur on ortho product, but due to steric hindrance we can say that this will be your minor product. This is the example of your anisole reacting with the CH3COCl or the acetyl chloride, and we know that this is your Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction, and the acylation will occur on both ortho and para positions, and your para product would be your major product. Same thing is with your nitration also. We know that OCH3 is ortho para directing, that is your nitration will occur at ortho and para position, and your para will be your major product. This is what we have understood here. Now let us try to solve these in-text questions. So your electrophilic aromatic substitution is very easy if you know that your group or your substituent that is attached on your benzene ring, if it is electron donating or if it is electron withdrawing. If it is electron donating, it will be activating in nature, that is it will increase the reactivity of your benzene ring towards electrophilic attack. And it can also be orthopara directing or meta directing, that is your electrophile, it attaches at orthopara position with respect to that substituent, or it attaches to the meta group, or it attaches at the meta position with respect to that group. This all we have already understood. I have already told you in previous chapters also, and in while I was teaching phenol as well, there also I had told you. So that is why I have tried to keep it short here. Okay, now let us try to move to the in-text questions. So 11.10 says write the reaction of Williamson synthesis of 2-ethoxy 3-methyl pentane. Okay, starting with ethanol and 3-methyl pentane 2. So they have given you some initial substrate and they have given you the product that you have to make this compound starting from these two compounds. And these two compounds you have to use as your initial reactants, and then you have to make this compound. So if I want to make this, so what is 2-ethoxy 3-methyl pentane? So let us try to draw that structure first. So 2-ethoxy CH3 CHO C2H5, this is your 2-ethoxy, and then I have 3-methyl, so I have CH3 CH2 CH3. Okay, this is the product that I have to make. Okay, so to make this product, what I will do is that I know that in Williamson synthesis, Williamson ether synthesis, I have told you already that the larger alkyl group will be used as the alcohol, we will use alcohol of the larger alkyl group, and the alkyl halide will be of smaller alkyl group. Why? Because we have to do the SN2 attack on the alkyl halide. So the alkyl group must be small. So what I will do is that I will use this alcohol CH3 CHOH CH3 CH2 CH3. So this is one of the initial reactants that they have already given me. They have said ki bhaiya you can use 3-methyl pentane 2-ol. So this is what I have used. This is 3-methyl pentane as it has 5 carbon atom and 2-ol. Okay, so this is one of the reactants that they have already given me. Now they have said ki bhaiya you do this reaction with ethanol C2H5OH. So I cannot do this reaction with ethanol. Williamson ether synthesis cannot be done by converting this alcohol into alkoxide and then attacking on this alcohol itself on C2H5OH. So I need to convert this C2H5OH into alkyl halide. So how I can do that? I can make it react with HBr. So what will happen is that it will lead to formation of C2H5Br and H2O. Now what I can do is that I can use this alcohol and convert it into some alkoxide and attack on this C2H5Br. So for your ethanol, I'll have to do some additional reaction and I'll have to convert it into your C2H5Br or your ethyl bromide. Now what I will do is that I will convert this alcohol into your alkoxide ion. So what I am doing is CH3 CHOH CH3 CH2 CH3. I am going to react this with sodium. So after reaction with sodium, what it will do, it will lead to the formation of its alkoxide ion CH3 CH2 CH3. And what I will do is that I will make it attack on your ethyl bromide. So once it will attack on this ethyl bromide, this Br will release and it will lead to the formation of your desired product, which they have already mentioned, and which is CH3 CHO ET. ET is your ethyl group, CH3, and this is your CH2 CH3. Okay, this is your desired product that they have asked you to form. Okay, so this much you must remember. Now 11.11 says which of the following is the appropriate set of reactants for the preparation of 1-methoxy 4-nitrobenzene and Y. Okay, so now they are asking you ki bhaiya which is the most suitable reaction for formation of this. So what you have to form is you have to form OCH3 and you have to have this nitro group. So this is the product that they are asking you, you have to make this product. So in the first compound, we know that this CH3O minus, if it attacks on this carbon atom, SNAR reaction can occur. Why? Because we have an electron withdrawing nitro group. But this reaction is not much feasible. Why? Because we know that there is a partial double bond character between your carbon and halogen atom, and we know that carbon halogen bond of sp2 hybridized carbon atom and your halogen will be very strong, or we can say that due to partial double bond character this reaction will not occur. Moreover, this is a nucleophile. This CH3O minus is a nucleophile and your benzene ring is also electron rich. So this electron rich benzene ring will actually try to repel your electron rich nucleophile. That is, this CH3O minus will not be able to attack on the carbon atom where bromine is attached. So this is why this reaction is not much feasible, although yeah, SNAR reaction can occur. Your Mesenheimer intermediate, if you have studied SNAR, you know what is Mesenheimer intermediate. So Mesenheimer intermediate will be stabilized by your nitro group. Okay, so that is why we have to attack this CH3O minus on your Br. That reaction can occur, but it is not a very good reaction. Why? Because this can also be done this product that they have asked, it can also be formed by some alternative route, which is your second reaction, where what they have done is that they have, so okay, let me try to first form this product, how they have formed this. So suppose I have paranitrophenol. I know that this phenol is acidic, but paranitrophenol will be more acidic due to the minus I effect of this nitro group. So if I make it react with your NaOH, so what NaOH will do, it will do the acid base reaction and it will lead to the formation of your O minus NO2. Now I have formed the phenoxide ion. What I can do is that I can make it react on CH3Br. So this O minus will attack on CH3 and your Br will release. That is, we have done your Williamson ether synthesis. Williamson ether synthesis. So this is a more suitable method. This is a more suitable method. Why? Because here we are not attacking on this carbon atom. We are attacking on some other carbon atom which is more susceptible towards SN2 attack. That is why this second reaction is more feasible for this synthesis. Okay, so the chapter, okay, now we have some more questions. 11.12, predict the products of the following reaction. So I have been given this. So okay, now here what we will do, we will use those tricks which I had given you. I am given CH3, CH2, sorry, OCH3. So first I will protonate it. Protonation is done. But I know that stable carbocation is not formed. Stable carbocation like 3-degree carbocation, allylic or benzylic carbocation, this sort of carbocation is not being formed. So what I will do is I will take Br minus and I will attack on this CH3 group, because I know that CH3 group is highly susceptible to SN2 attack. So what it will form, it will lead to the formation of your CH3, CH2, CH2OH, and one of the other products will be formed, which is formed will be CH3Br. Okay, these are the two products that are formed. So this you must keep in mind that here you are using HBr only one equivalent. You are not using excess HBr. Okay, so this is what we have to do in first reaction. In second reaction, we know that if I'm taking this phenyl ether, I cannot form a stable carbocation. If I take this OC2H5, I know that if I protonate it and if I try to move it like this, the carbocation form, that is the phenyl carbocation, will be very unstable. So I am not going to make the carbocation. What I will be doing, as stable carbocation is not formed, your first priority is not happening here. So your Br minus will attack on your C2H5 and this group will leave and your product formed will be your phenol and C2H5Br. Okay, this you have to keep in mind. Now going to your third reaction. What they have done is that they have taken concentrated H2SO4 and concentrated HNO3. So what they are trying to do, they are trying to do electrophilic aromatic substitution, that they are trying to do the nitration of this compound. So you have OC2H5. I know that OC2H5 is ortho-para directing. So the major product will be your para product, that is your nitro will be attached on the para position. Now I have this and I have to react it with HI. I know that I am doing your fourth question. So what it is saying, that you have CH3 whole thrice carbon and you have OC2H5. So once I protonate it, what will happen is that this will leave. So it will lead to the formation of a very stable carbocation, which I have told you is your first priority. If you can form a stable carbocation, it will be your first priority. So I formed this carbocation and it also leads to the formation of C2H5OH. What I can do is that I can attack this with I minus and it will lead to the formation of my alkyl iodide and C2H5OH. So these products will be formed. Okay, so I hope that this chapter is very easy for you now and you do not have any problem with respect to your NCERT.